Welcome to Land a House. I'm Seth. This is part 2 of my off-grid water tower build. If you missed the first part, I have a link in the description down below. So in this video, I've got 3 tasks to do. The first one is to put the triangular bracing up here, which is going to just be 2x4s on every corner. It'll go on both sides. And then I'm going to do some painting to get this thing hopefully ready for the long time use up here. And then lastly, I want to bring up the IBC tote and get it positioned over there on the far side. So let's go ahead and get started. I have several scrap 2x4s, and I'm just going to simply make a brace that's going to go up to about right here. And so I want to cut these at a 45, the top and bottom, and that way it will go flush up against here. And I may do it a little bit steeper, like right about there, and that way it will support close to the middle of this and then down the leg some, and it'll just help prevent this thing from racking if it ever wanted to under the weight of the water. I've got my speed square set to the 45-degree cut, and I'm just going to be cutting through here so that I have basically a 45 on both sides. This cut should allow me to place this both right here and up here. Now this one's a little bit long, and I think what I'm going to do is use the longer one over here on this side, something kind of like this right here, and then I will cut some that are slightly shorter for the short side over here. Here's one of my braces. I'm just simply going to push this to the top up here to support that board, and then the other end is going to be up against my 4x4, and I'm just going to nail this into place. This board right here, of course, is supported by an inner 2x4, a 2x8, and now this brace over here. So, all right, the next task is to do some painting. So let me go bring some paint up here and we'll get started on that. The only paint color that I have that's exterior is this cream tan white color. So that's what I'm going to be using here. It might stand out a bit, but I think it'll at least give this water tower a nice water resistant coat of paint for at least the next couple of years. The previous tower that I installed started to fall apart, and I think some of it's because I did not waterproof it any. And so this should help out. Now I know that watching somebody paint is terribly boring. So I think what I'm going to do is just snap this done for you real quick so you don't have to watch all of this being done. So here we go. Okay. Thank goodness for the video snap. Otherwise, they'd have to sit here and watch me paint for hours and hours. And that would be tragic. Huh? Oh my goodness, snap didn't work. Okay, here we go. And okay, sorry about that. The painting is done now, as you can see, and I'm gonna let this dry for a little while. And in the meantime, what we can do is go get the chainsaw, and there are a few trees I need to cut out. So all of these little saplings that are just right around here, like this little guy and maybe this one right here and a couple others, I'm going to just pull those out so we have plenty of room to work with. And then I need to pick out the best route to the road over here so I can get the four-wheeler and the tank up around here. So maybe I can just trim back a couple of these trees, maybe right in here, and have a clear shot to the road. I'm thinking I may just drag that back here and just get it right over in here. And my neighbor is home or visiting today, and so I may be able to ask him if he can help me just to lift it up and put it right on top up here. Probably a task I should have done before building this structure, but you know what? It is what it is. I just finished getting those little trees moved out of the way on this side, a couple over here, and then 3 or so over here that were leaning over a bit. And then I made a little bit of a path right here that will take us over to the road so we can just drag that tote on down here. So should be a pretty straight shot to right over here. See if my neighbor can help me pick it up from here up to there. Okay, our next task is to go load up the four-wheeler trailer and bring it over to the tote and drive it on around. So let's go do that real quick. I made this four-wheeler trailer a few years ago before lumber was sky high. I forget what it cost, but I've used it several times. Definitely nice to have a little trailer. But hopefully we can get that IBC tote to fit in there and can take it up around the hill. This thing's just heavy enough that it's awkward to move around. All right, so let's see, maybe if I just tip it up and walk it over there. Or, to be honest, since it's empty, it may just tip in there like this, and that cage will catch it. This thing is a bit tippy, but I think we're going to make it as long as I'm not going too fast. I put a strap down on it. Hopefully it'll stay on. Managed to get it up here with no real issues. So let's see if we can drag this through the woods. I might even attempt to pick it up myself. Have to see here. It is rather heavy. It's not a fast journey, but we're making it. This thing is not super heavy. It's just big and awkward. So I think before I get my neighbor, I'm going to try to tilt it up, slide it onto the current surface, and then stand it up so that I can just get it up here myself. We'll give it a try. If it doesn't work, I'll call my neighbor. May just have to do a little touch-up painting where this is about to slide in here. Okay, yeah, I think we can do this. I need to spin the side right here to the front. And there we go. We've got an IBC tote on top of a wooden structure. Let's go ahead and look at how we did here. So I was measuring my initial measurements from the outside right here when I should have been measuring in here. So I made it a little bit bigger than it needed to be, but luckily everything is still on the boards with at least an inch to spare in all directions. So that is just fine with me. I'll have to get an adapter to go onto this because it's a different type of thread. And then I'll just leave this open all the time. It'd be just fine. But yeah, so as far as the tower goes, I think that's going to do quite nicely. Whenever I get the second one of these over here, I can adjust the position of these accordingly to fit this even better. But for now, I like it a lot. It may be worth me coming back in here later on and adding a few more support nails up under here, because some of the weight is going to be pushing down on that second board that was added. So just add a couple more supports in there on both sides. But I think it's going to do pretty good. This concludes Water Tower Part 2. I think that's all there's going to be for now. I'll come back later with the ram pump and we'll put some water in here and see how well it does. But for now, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've got some questions or comments, leave those down below and I will see you in the next video. Bye.